So I get a lot of clients talking about the recession. In New Zealand, we've also got an election, so that's another external factor that people are kind of concerned about. So there's three kind of main points to cover here: that why it isn't as big a deal as you think, and some pointers like what you can do to navigate through it till we get to the other side. So point number one, a lot of the clients that I work with do concrete, landscaping, fencing, tree services. So a lot of these are fairly recession-proof services. You know, if you need a concrete driveway laid, you need one laid. If you've got trees falling on your house, then you need them gone. You could argue that some of the higher end renovations might be dropping off potentially, which I have seen a little bit happen. But for the most part, what I'm seeing on my data is that a lot of these recession-proof services have remained pretty much unchanged. There's still a lot of people searching for them, and there's a lot of people getting quotes and phoning up and submitting email inquiries. Even in these areas that are not recession proof, for example, renovations in Auckland, I've got a client I've been working with for 5 years now, and we've actually had a record number of renovation leads come through the door, and he's signing a $300,000 project every couple days at the moment. So despite us being in a recession and an election build-up, there's still people out there looking for your services, and it's just up to you to be showing up. So let's say you're a builder, for example, you offer a range of services like renovations, new builds, decking, maintenance work. You can see if you can switch to more recession-proof areas of the business. Maybe you're a civil contractor, maybe new build work is slightly lower. However, you can shift more into concrete services, which have remained relatively stable. At point number two, the market might drop a little bit. There might be some people searching less for some of the higher end products or non-recession proof products, but let's say the current market share is 100 people. There's 100 people in the market, and you're a small business, medium-sized business. You're not really going to notice that unless you're not showing up in Google. So let's say the market share drops from 100 people in the market to 90. You're not really going to notice that if you're a small to medium business. You might notice that if you're a larger company like Fletcher's, because your percentage of that existing market is quite high, so it's going to be a more noticeable impact. But if you're a smaller size business, you're not really going to notice that. You might be going from 5% of your local market, let's say the Nelson concrete market. Let's say you've got 5% of that market and the overall market drops by 10%, 10 points. It's only going to be a 0.5% drop in your market share. And you can actually increase that market share if you're doing digital advertising, Google Ads, SEO. You could actually increase your market share from 5 out of 100 and move it up during a recession and an election. A lot of the clients that I work with in these smaller cities like Palmerston North, I signed a concrete and construction company doing driveways and civil works. They're getting at least 30 leads a month, and we've only been working together for 2 months. I've got 2 Nelson concrete companies that I'm working with for about 2 years now. They're getting at least 50 concrete leads a month. Tree services in Napier, got a guy I've been working with, he's had about 60 leads. So all these smaller places I'm seeing are remaining quite stable and unchanged. And that leads me to the last point, which is something we should all do no matter what the situation, and that is focusing on what you can control. And as someone who's having your phone ring with people looking for work for your trades company, then what you should be focusing on is obviously marketing and sales. So what does that look like? That means showing up in Google for your products in your local area. And when a quote comes in, you got to be getting onto the quote as fast as possible. There's no reason why you can't be answering the quote within 5 minutes. You're going to make a much better impression on the client. You're going to be the first one to the bat to get a site visit and a quote, and your whole impression is going to be a lot more professional and like you actually care and you want the works. Focus on what you can control during the next couple months or years. Stay at the top of Google, and I think you'll be fine. So to recap, make sure you're at the top of Google and the Google Ads and also the SEO if you can, and make sure your inquiry follow-up process is dialed in. I see a lot of companies that have leads coming through the door, but they're not getting to them in time. The lead goes cold and the guy down the road is going to be getting the work. Even in these areas that are not recession proof, for example, renovations in Auckland, I've got a client I've been working with for 5 years now, and we've actually had a record number of renovation leads come through the door, and he's signing a $300,000 project every couple days at the moment. So despite us being in a recession and an election build-up, there's still people out there looking for your services, and it's just up to you to be showing up. If you need more leads, give me a DM. If you need more leads, give me a DM.